I just want to put disclaimer, I guess. All of these books I'm going to talk about are young adult teen romance books. That is the main genre I went with this. That's the main genre I read right now anyways. So if you don't like that type of books, then that's just a heads up, I guess. I also purchased all of these books that I'm going to be showing at a local bookstore, Indigo. But if you're interested in purchasing any of them, they will be in my description below for easy access for you guys. If you do buy any of the books, comment down below which one you bought, and then read it, and then come back and reply to your comment saying what you rate the book and what you thought of it, just so I can see what you guys think of the books too. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a book review. So I picked some of my favorite books. I have 4 standalone books and 1 series. So let's just get into the first one. So the first one I chose was this book here, On the Fence by KASIE West. This was one of the first books that I read that actually got me into young adult teen romance books. They are by far my favorite, no matter how cheesy they are. That's what makes them better. The genre of this book is a young adult romance book. Sorry if I'm looking over here. I have a notebook of all of my notes for each book, so if I look over there during this, that's why. A best friend turned boyfriend trope, along with a tomboy trope. There's some themes in this book like identity, honesty, and first love, of course. This book was released in July 2014, so it is a little bit of an older one. It's also like a medium-sized book. It is 304 pages, but I will read the back to you guys. For 16-year-old Charlotte Reynolds, aka Charlie, being raised by a single dad and 3 older brothers has its perks. She can outrun, outscore, and outwit every boy she knows, including her longtime neighbor and honorary 4th brother, Brayden. But when it comes to being a girl, Charlie doesn't know the first thing about anything. So when she starts to work at a cheeky boutique to pay off her speeding ticket, she finds herself in a strange new world of makeup, lacy skirts, and bedazzlers. Even stranger, she's spending time with a boy who has never seen her tear it up in a pickup game. To cope with the stress of faking her way through this new reality, Charlie seeks late-night refuge in her backyard, talking out her problems with Brayden by the fence that separates them. But the fence chats can't resolve Charlie's biggest problem. She's falling for Brayden. Hard. She knows what it means to go for the win, but if spilling her secrets means losing him for good, the stakes just got too high. That is the back of the book that it gives you. Now I will give you my final thoughts on how the book was. This is a really good book. The relationship between Charlie and Brayden is very sweet and pure. You read about Charlie growing up and figuring herself out. We see Charlie go from a tomboy to try to figure out what it is like to be a girl. We see her having to figure out some harder things throughout the majority of the book, but I think that's what really makes the story. Everything kind of comes together at the end, so I would definitely recommend this book. I would rate this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. Okay, next book was also by KASIE West, and it is The Distance Between Us. Cover looks like this. This is a very good book, also a young adult romance book. Rich guy meets poor girl trope, full on. This whole book is that. The release date for this one was July 2013, so just a year before On the Fence. And I will read you guys the back now. Money can't buy a good first impression. 17-year-old Cayman Myers learnt early that rich are not to be trusted. After years of studying them from behind the cash register of her mom's porcelain doll shop, she has seen nothing to prove otherwise. Enter Xander Spence. He is tall, handsome, and oozing rich. Despite his charming ways and the fact that he seems to be one of the first people who actually gets her, she's smart enough to know his interest won't last. Because if there's one thing she learned from her mother's warnings, it's that the rich have short attention spans. But just when Xander's loyalty and attentiveness are about to convince Cayman that being rich isn't a character flaw. She finds out that money is a much bigger part of the relationship than she'd ever realized. With so many obstacles standing in the way, can she choose the distance between them? Okay, that is the back of the book. My final thoughts. This book is 1000% rich guy meets poor girl trope. It also definitely lives up to it. We see Cayman and Xander go on a bunch of these career days that are honestly so adorable, and that also kickstarts their relationship. We see a lot of secrets being kept, and everything kind of gets blown up in Cayman's face. Everything ends up working out in the end. It all kind of just falls in perfectly after it's all blown up. Overall, another really, really great book by KASIE West, and I would definitely recommend. The distance between us is around the same length as On the Fence with 312 pages, and I would rate this a 4.5 stars. Next book. This is My Mistletoe Mix-Up by JUDY CORRY. It's a young adult fiction romance again. The main trope is enemies to lover in this one, which was good. And this was released November 2018, and I will read the back for you guys. She was supposed to kiss her crush under the mistletoe. She didn't expect to kiss his bad boy twin. When Raven Rogers finds out her longtime crush is back in town, she's convinced her bad luck with guys has finally changed. That is, until she mistakenly kisses her crush's twin brother, Logan Carmichael, who has been her sworn enemy since childhood. But it's been 18 months since she last saw Logan, and he claims he's not the same guy she used to hate. When they are thrown together for a Christmas charity event, Logan seems determined to prove he's nicer than he used to be. But can a bad boy really change his ways enough to change her heart? This is a very short read with 124 pages only, but my final thoughts on this book is just that it's a very short book, but it's very sweet. Raven gets mixed up with the wrong brother. I found that there wasn't really any other surprises in the book that really stood out to me. Logan and Raven getting to know each other more and realizing that both of their thoughts for each other is bad, and it turns out that they were wrong about most of those things. Would recommend if you want a little a short Christmas love story. I rated this book 3 stars out of 5. There could have been potentially more surprises or turns in the book when there wasn't. It was just kind of expected, but it was a good story. It was sweet. Next book, My Life Next Door by HUNTLEY FITZPATRIck. This is also a young adult romance book. It's first love and boy next door trope. This was released June 2014, and I will read the back for you guys. On one summer night, everything changed. Life in Samantha Reed's home is neat and clean and orderly, precisely planned by her local politician mother. Next door at the Garretts, things are loud, messy, and irresistible. And when gorgeous Jace Garrett climbs out of the trellis outside her bedroom and enters her life, she finds herself falling passionately in love with him and everything he's bringing with him. The only hitch is she's got to hide it from her mother. Then something unthinkable happens when Samantha is suddenly faced with an impossible decision. Which family will save her? Or is it time she saved herself? This is a bigger read. It is 432 pages. My final thoughts on this book are Samantha and Jace's story is definitely a good one. When a tragedy happens, Samantha is confused and hurt. She's fallen in love with Jace's whole family and doesn't know what to do when she finds out the truth. I definitely recommend this book to those mature enough. This book does mention drugs and alcohol and also mentions sex. So just be prepared for those if you are going to read it. Besides that, I would definitely recommend. It is a wonderfully written book. I rate it 4 stars out of 5. Next is this series right here. This is The Summer I Turned Pretty series by Jenny Han. So this series, I'm going to go through each book individually and rate them that way. Okay, so to get it out of the way, the first book has 296 pages, and the second one has 304, and the third one has 320 pages. This series is young adult fiction romance. The tropes that I found the most like true in this book is always someone better trope and a love triangle trope. So if you like love triangles, this is definitely the one. The themes I kind of found in this was coming of age. There's a lot of maturity that needs to happen in this book, and you watch that play out, and also independence. Before I mention the 3 books, there is a description on the back of the box set that explains all 3 books, so I will read that first and then I will get into the 3 books. Belly has always lived for the summertime because it means all her favorite things: swimming, the beach, and the Fisher boys, Conrad and Jeremiah. She spent every summer of her life with them at Cousin's Beach. All the while, Belly has loved Conrad from afar, until finally, one faithful summer, it seems like he might feel something for her too. But as it turns out, so does Jeremiah. As the summers go on, Belly must choose between the 2 brothers and face the inevitable. She will have to break one of their hearts. I will start with the first book. First book looks like this. It is just called The Summer I Turned Pretty. This book was released in 2009, and I rated this book a 4.8 out of 5 stars. When each summer begins, Belly leaves her school life behind and escapes to Cousin's Beach, the place she has spent every summer of her life. Not only does the beach house mean home away from home, but her favorite people are there. Suzanne, her mother's best friend, and her sons, Conrad and Jeremiah. Belly has been chasing Conrad for as long as she can remember, and more than anything, she hopes this summer will be different. Despite distractions from a new guy named Cam and lingering looks from Conrad's brother Jeremiah, Belly's heart belongs to Conrad. Will he offer his to her? Will this be the summer that changes everything? But my final thoughts for book 1 is just that it's very good, and we see Belly reunite with Suzanne and her boys Conrad and Jeremiah. We read about Belly's love for her cousins and of course Conrad. You get a chance to fall in love with each of the characters one by one. This book made me imagine myself in every single scene, and I absolutely loved it. Number two is called It's Not Summer Without You. So this book was released in 2010, so just a year after the first one, and I rated this one a 4.5. So I will read the back to you. After spending every single summer at Cousin's Beach, Belly's life is about to change. Since her brief relationship with Conrad fizzled out this past winter, she'll be staying home for the first time. Her best friend Taylor has a lot of plans for them: boat parties and tanning by the pool and new boys to obsess over. But when Jeremiah calls and says that Conrad has disappeared, all roads seem to lead back to the beach house. Will Belly spend another summer chasing after Conrad, or will she finally be able to let him go? My final thoughts to the second book. It's all about decisions. Belly hasn't been away from Cousins in what seems like forever, because she goes every single year. So when she stays home for the first time, she has a lot of different choices that come along. I also believe in the second book is when there is a devastating turn. I think it's the second book. I'm not 100% sure. This is the ending book, and it is very good. This one is called We'll Always Have Summer. Third book was released in 2011. Again, just a year after the last one. So between 3 years, 3 books. I gave this one a 4.5 as well because it's good, probably as good as the second one, but nothing beats the first one, I guess. And I will read the back to you. Her whole life, Belly has always been in love with the Fishers. Suzanne was like a second mother to her. Conrad was her first love, and Jeremiah was her first real boyfriend. Now, after 2 years, Jeremiah gets down on a bended knee and offers Belly what she's always wanted: to be Belly Fisher. As Jeremiah and Belly head back to Cousin's Beach to plan their wedding, Conrad comes home to tell Belly he made a mistake when he broke her heart. Now Belly must confront her feelings for Jeremiah and Conrad and face the truth she's possibly always known. She will have to break one of their hearts. It's about the relationship at the start, where they're at. I'm pretty sure they're in college. Then there are some secrets that get spilled, but overall, it's about the wedding. Overall, out of 3 books, 15 stars. I rated it a 13.8 star. So book 3 is a huge question for Belly. Reading the last book, I was definitely on my toes about what was going to happen and if there was going to be fights, if there wasn't, what was going to happen, who was going to react in what way. But it was a very, very good end to the series. We watched both brothers consistently fight for Belly throughout the entire series. It was like one of those stories that was expectedly unexpected. But this is actually one of my favorite series. I fell in love with the first book and I've definitely read it more than once, more than twice. But that is all the books I have. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. Also, leave a comment in the description if you buy any of the books, like I said earlier in the video. And also leave your suggestions for any books that are kind of like this that I should read. Thank you guys again for watching and I will see you guys next time. Bye!